Hey everybody, it's me, Crazyfrankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my Week 10 4 key game picks. Before I get into those picks, a little bit of thoughts from week number 9. Obviously, the big winners coming out of week number 9 have got to be the Oakland Raiders, the Dallas Cowboys, the Baltimore Ravens, the Seahawks, the Giants, and the Lions. And obviously, the biggest disappointments in week number 9 have got to be the Eagles, Steelers, and the Vikings. Now, and the reason why I'm saying these right now, because, is we're heading into week 10. We are now starting to see the playoff picture, the pieces starting to form. Now, I know we're still technically 7 weeks away from the final games of the regular season. But if I'm looking at it, if you were to ask me, who are the clear-cut favorites now? Obviously, now we're getting a clear-cut favorite in the NFC conference now. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys now, with their record of I think they're 7-1 now. Yep, by looks of it, they are now a clear-cut favorite as long as Dak Prescott is still the quarterback for the Cowboys. They are starting to become now the favorites now in the NFC. With teams like Minnesota, Green Bay, and Arizona and a little bit of Seattle, even though they were big winners last week, they have fallen off the radar. And you got to give credit where credit is due to the Dallas Cowboys. They are on a mission. Look, I don't know how far they'll get in the playoffs. Remember, they're still clinging on to the NFC East division, even though they have a good record. But the Giants are still not far behind them. Who's to say the Redskins may start making moves? Philadelphia's falling apart. It's been a little bit unfortunate. In the AFC, like I said so many times already, no one's going to stop New England. The AFC conference is really a mess. There really is no clear-cut favorite other than maybe the Raiders. But even though the Raiders may be on a roll, yes, I do acknowledge the fact they are now a team to be reckoned with in the AFC conference. But I don't even think they'll do much against the New England Patriots, even if they were to meet in the postseason. I just don't see them getting by New England. Little bit more thoughts from week number. Obviously, again, we're getting a lot of questionable referee calls, and I'm talking about the Denver Broncos Oakland Raiders game. There were a ton of penalties that I did not agree with. Now, to think of it, this is more Raiders territory here when it comes to penalties, but Denver had so many penalties in that game that allowed Oakland to take advantage and ended up winning that game. I think to me I'm just dumbfounded. I mean, this is supposed to be Raiders type of play, and yet they're on a run, and Denver ended up falling for it. So yeah, Denver now, you don't know now with them. Their defense now is really hurting, and they have some key injuries in the secondary that's really becoming a problem. And I think, if anybody who saw the Monday night game, obviously there was no flag on Richard Sherman for a late hit. Yeah, you could say the theme right now for NFL, it's really what is going on with the officiating? What is going on? I mean, you could look at the fact that that's part of the reason why ratings have been down in the NFL lately. Part of it is officiating, but I think because we've been spoiled with good NFL players and good close matchups and close Super Bowls, I think this is the reason why the NFL is down on the ratings. I mean, this is kind of out of subject here. Baseball beat football in October. No question, they did. But it doesn't mean I don't like the NFL. I will always love the NFL. The NFL, it's all American, and I love the NFL. I am not going to trade it for anything else in this world. Anyways, let's get into week number 10. Good slate of games for week number 10. It was kind of hard to pick good 4 ones that I want to talk because I don't want to show too much bias here. I know I've been talking about the same teams lately. All right, this is the games that I come up with. All right, let's begin with key game number 1. It is the Denver Broncos at the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are a 1.5-point favorite and a big victory last week against the 49ers. Denver now needs to find a way to get out of the slump that they're in and forget what happened with Oakland and just stay on track right now, because you'll get one more meeting with Oakland in Denver, which is near the end of the season. Simeon went 18 of 37, 283 yards, 2 touchdown passes in the loss to Oakland. Breeze had a big day he went 28 of 39, 323 yards of passing, and 3 touchdown passes. It is going to be quite a toss-up here, but the way the New Orleans Saints are playing right now in terms of their offense, I know their defense is still a big question right now. Expect a very high-scoring game here. There's no question. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints here. They're a slight favorite, but I think to me, New Orleans gets the victory here. Denver's having a ton of problems in the secondary, and I didn't think that I would have to pick somebody other than Denver any game that the Broncos play in. So yeah, I got to go with the New Orleans Saints here. This is, to me, unless the Denver Broncos can fix their defense, I see Drew Reeves having a field day with their defense here. But expect a very high-scoring game. It could be a very, very tight one to the end, but I like New Orleans here, and the game is in New Orleans, and I like the Saints in this one. Saints over the Broncos. Key game number 2, a very big one here for both these teams. The Atlanta Falcons against the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are a 1-point favorite, but that is going to change by the end of the week. The way the Atlanta Falcons are playing right now, and the way they demolished the Buccaneers last week, and here is Matt Ryan's stats. He went 25 of 34, 344 yards of passing, and 4 touchdown passes. He had a field day with the Buccaneers defense. Philadelphia, I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia, but they are falling apart here in terms of their offense and their defense. I mean, Wentz only went 27 of 47, 364 yards, and no touchdown passes. This is a game the Eagles have to have, or they're going to fall further behind in the division. And for Atlanta, they can afford to lose a game here, but the way the Saints are playing right now, the Saints could start playing catch-up here. They're really showing some signs of life in the NFC South. But Atlanta, I just think, because of their running game, I just think they're going to be too much for Philadelphia to handle. I have to go with the Atlanta Falcons here. Their running game is going to be key, and Matt Ryan is having quite a season. I mean, he's really pulling up good numbers here, and Philadelphia's falling apart. They need to figure themselves out if they want a chance to beat the Falcons here. I never thought I had to go against Philly in this one, but Philly's only a 1-point favorite. The lines could get even. Even Atlanta could be a 1-point favorite in this one. I don't know why the pundits have it at 1 point for Philadelphia, but I think Atlanta wins this game here. I like the Falcons here. Falcons over the Eagles. Key game number 3, another big one here. This is mostly for Pittsburgh, though. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh is actually a 2.5-point favorite. But, even though despite having Ben Roethlisberger back, they struggled big time with Baltimore. If they struggle so much with a terrible Baltimore Ravens team, how are they going to do against the Cowboys here? Let's look at some quarterback stats here. Prescott went 21 of 27, 247 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Roethlisberger went 23 of 45, 264 yards, and 1 touchdown pass. He still struggled against the Ravens. And yet the way Dallas Cowboys are playing, they're just playing phenomenal here. As long as Prescott can stay the quarterback here, you got to go with the Dallas Cowboys here. Pittsburgh's defense, I don't know what's going on with them. Their defense right now has been shot lately. And Ben Roethlisberger and their offense really has not been up to par. And obviously, Ben Roethlisberger is not 100%. I don't understand why Mike Tomlin brought him back. I think, to me, he should have sat out a couple more. He should be sitting out a couple more games here. I think it was too soon to bring him back, but I know you're trying to cling on to the division. Baltimore is now taking over. But there's no question in this game. You got to go with the Cowboys here. Chances of it being a close game, they could make it a game, but I think Dallas pulls away in the second half here, and I like the Cowboys in this one here. Cowboys over the Steelers. And finally, key game number 4. It is the Seattle Seahawks at the New England Patriots. Who could forget the last time these two teams met in Super Bowl 49? We all know what happened. Malcolm Butler intercepted Russell Wilson in a dumb play that they should have gave the ball to Marshawn Lynch, but that is history now. Looking at this one here, the Patriots a 7.5-point favorite. I definitely agree with that. Seattle really struggled against Buffalo in the Monday night game, and even though they won, their defense finally stepped up, but their defense is going to have to really step up here against New England. The Patriots are on a roll. There's no question I like the New England Patriots here, but let's throw in some stats here, and then I'll wrap this up right now. Russell Wilson went 20 of 26, 282 yards, 2 touchdown passes in a game that Seattle had to have in order to keep pace, in order to keep first place in the NFC West. Tom Brady, 22 of 33, 315 yards of passing, 4 touchdown passes in 2 weeks ago, because their Patriots are just coming off a bye week, and that was Brady's stats from his last game. No question here, like I said, the Patriots easily. This is one of those picks that is an easy one to pick here. You got to go with the New England Patriots here. Seattle's defense is going to have to really come up big, and it's too much to ask from Seattle's defense here, and this is why I like the Patriots in this one here. Patriots over the Seahawks. I have to wrap this video up a lot more quickly here because, I try to keep my videos short here, but these were games that I could easily run through in a flash now. Anyways, that wraps up my picks for week number 10 For all NFL lines for week number 10, along with my picks, go to thesportblog.blogspot.com for all of that. My video goes up first, and then my blog post goes up. So make sure you check back tomorrow, November the 9th. My blog post should be up by then, along with my video. And until then, everybody, I will see you all next week when I talk about my picks for week number 11. Take care and enjoy your football weekend.